Hi, Megan Marini here to share with you some writing prompts you can use today, right now, to help you deal with whatever form of isolation you're currently facing and sort of some resilience around what to do with what's coming, right? So we've all been through the pandemic now, but it's not over. And now we're going into the fall and the winter. What does that mean? That means more darkness and more natural isolation, just because of the simple fact, if you're stuck at home in a snowstorm, you're probably not going out, even if you did work somewhere out of the home. So it's hit all of us very differently, but we continue to develop further effects and symptoms based on what we are not processing, we don't know how to process, or things that are sort of, sort of stuck in the system, if you will. So I wanted to give you some techniques that you can start using and that I would imagine you can develop yourself. So how this all works, right? The whole sort of self-healing, if you will. And I think that you could call it that. And that's how I would like to educate and train the people that I work with, the clients that I see and do healings and therapies on, so that they can actually do this stuff on themselves, right? We want to empower everyone to be able to start to soothe your system yourself, find ways to navigate increasingly complex and uncertain reality, so that you can both help yourself and help those around you, right? So one of the ways that I see us doing that is through building a self-awareness practice. So if you don't know that you have experienced a setback or something has really affected your system, either mind, body, or spirit, something threw you off course. Maybe you do know that something threw you off course, but you haven't done anything consistently or therapeutically that has helped clear it from your system. You're going to continue to see an effect of that. And the thing that how the universe works, right, is that if nothing changes, then things get worse. Nothing is static. So you're either really thrusting forward to get better and to heal and to transform and to face whatever's happened to you, or you are in a state of attrition and the system is degrading. There is no static. You do not get static, no matter how awesome you are. You either are improving or you are degrading. Now, the other way this can work is very much biologically. So if you think of, the diet that you used before COVID, the exercise routine you used before COVID, the way that you processed events that were not happy for you, right? Like, how do you process trauma and stress? You might have, before the pandemic, gone out for a couple of drinks, right? That's like, what a lot of Americans do. You might have popped on the television to watch the football game, or maybe you called a couple of your girlfriends to tell them what's been going on with you, or maybe you painted a picture, or maybe you saw your therapist. And now, after 2 years of working with the same therapist, you're like, things aren't improving. I'm not getting any better. I still have this looming, dreadful feeling. I hate going to work. I can't stand my partner, whatever it is, right? Things are not necessarily getting better. And that's because you just need some tools to figure out how to process what's happened to you. So things can get stuck in a very physical manner. So things can get stuck in the tissue of the body. They can get stuck in the diaphragm on a cellular level. They can be in the energy body, which we do have a bioenergetic body. And you can also have a mental block against someone, something, some political agenda, let's say. Ha ha ha, I see you. So I want to give you some prompts, right? So the way I think about this is really about creating, first of all, some self-awareness, because if you are still under the assumption that you're just going to be fine doing nothing different, then you'll never be able to have that reflective opportunity to say, oh yeah, there's the thing that must change. You first must isolate the thing that you want to change. And we want to do all of this self-exploration without judgment. It's one of the most important pieces. And beginners on the path, right? Like a spiritual teacher or a new therapist, they may practice, being unconditional with their client, hopefully. But can they teach you how to be unconditional with yourself, right? Most of us are not unconditional about our change. We judge ourselves for not having already changed, not being where we think we should be, assuming that we should be where somebody else is in life. And the reality is that's just like mental noise, and that's just only going to slow you down. The very fastest way to begin transformation is to fully and honestly accept where you are from a loving place. Like, oh, okay, this is where I am. And it's going to give you much more opportunity. So you're not in a judgmental state, in a critical mind. You'll be able to open up to the creative brain, where you can actually think constructively and use your executive functioning, right? Use the high thinking parts of the brain to find solutions to your issue, rather than just condemning yourself to the issue and repeating the cycle, right? So that's kind of how it works on the mental plane. But you want to first like pinpoint what it is, right? So some ways you can start to build your self-awareness is to start journaling. And I do not think that this is the end all be all for self-awareness. I think journaling is very limited, quite honestly, because you only have one perspective, which is your own. Nonetheless, I think journaling is a really empowering way and a cost-effective way to start to build in self-help, mental health in your life. So if you've never journaled, or you have a big block against it, any big block that you have, I would just sort of invite you to explore that and think about why that's there. Is that there to ultimately limit your growth? Is it there because, you know, you were taught it's not cool to know about yourself? Like whatever it is, like anytime you're blocked about something, just realize that that is sort of a wall you have put up, some part of your psyche, probably for a protection mechanism, so that you won't grow. So explore that. Okay. And if you're open to it, let's play. So some of the prompts really are asking yourself questions about yourself. So what are some activities that you used to do before the pandemic that soothed your system, made you feel happy? I mentioned some of them, like popping on the television, calling an old friend, going for a walk, things like this that you used to do. And then perhaps write down if they no longer work to make you feel peace, calm, tranquility, or pull you out of what would be like a depressive or an episode, like an anxiety episode or something like this. Excuse me. What activities that you're doing now, or that you're doing with others? Okay, what activities are you doing, say, with a pod, with people that you work with your family? What are some activities that you can develop? So maybe you already play board games. Maybe you can play more introspective board games. Maybe you could all take a class together. Perhaps you could do a practice, a spiritual practice, a gratitude practice together as a group. So developing the activities in the groups you're already in. So not necessarily developing new groups, but I myself personally am going to be developing new groups during the fall and winter 21-22, because isolation to me is like the opposite of mental health. So I know some people really thrive in more individualized settings with a lot more downtime. And I myself am an extro intro. So I do need a lot of introspective time, and I do need a lot of alone time to stay balanced. But if I don't have sort of the highs of seeing each other and connecting with other people, I myself can go into a depressive state. So what has been the greatest lesson for you during the pandemic? That's a really great thing to flesh out. So what's been the greatest learning or lesson or something that you're going to be able to take with you? Many of you have already been thinking about this, talk openly about it. And maybe you've just never written it down. Others haven't really explored that thinking. You only perhaps are seeing some of the bad things. There's always some beauty and there's gifts. So I want you to really write that down. So what are new realizations with yourself, with your family, with your friends, with your career, right? Maybe you've started a workout program, things like this that have been positive, and then also the lessons, and you can look across the board as well. Like, what has been a lesson with my career? What has been a lesson with my friends? So the higher level of stress due to the rapid changes that we've seen have sort of accumulated in everyone's body. And that's why what we did before doesn't work any longer, right? So what we want to do is we want to improve our coping and try new things, develop deeper processes to help us move through stuff. So if I was going to ask you, what is an action that you could take that you have a hunch or you think would help you, but you just don't take it, probably because you're more stressed out. You might be depressive. You might be dealing with anxiety, which causes you not to do the action that you know you should do. So I want you to write down the action you should do that you know you should do. And we all have this. We all know what we should do. It's interesting that a lot of what happens when we work with a great coach is they just get us closer to the answers we already have. They don't tell you what they think. I know those coaches too. No. They just tell you, they not tell you, they shape for you deeper ways to sense what you already know inside of yourself, because your compass is within, your path is yours. So you want to not only pick up, intuit, sense, you want to trust what you know you should do, and then you want to act. You want to act on it. You don't want to act on what the news media tells you. You don't need your mother to tell you what you should do. You don't even need your coach to tell you. You know, your coach should help you hear your voice. Okay. So you can develop your voice. All right. You want to speed that up, you work with people that know how to do that. That's how it works, right? How fast do you want to get there? You know what I mean? Because like you can journal for 20 years and not get there because it is an isolated voice, but you can also learn a lot and move a lot in a short amount of time if you dig deep and you're honest, okay? So be honest with yourself. What can you do? What action can you take? Is it find that therapist? Is it go out of network and find a private therapist? Is it start exercising 5 times a week? Is it stop, emotional eating, whatever it is? Write that thing down. And then I want you to commit to, as soon as you stop watching this video, go take an action in regard to that one thing. Okay. So research shows that taking an action right away within minutes, and you can practice this every time you journal. Okay, so this is the vision. This is my big goal. This is what I want to work on right now. And then stand up and take an action toward that goal, and you will move fast. I'm all about rapid transformation, lasting transformation. So it's doing this stuff right, but you have to do it. There is no, inspirational quote that is going to transform your life. It is you who transforms your life. So who can help you or support you right now? You usually have a friend, you have someone you can call, you have someone you can talk to. It could be an organization, a book, or a guide, someone like me. And I don't know if I want to say that right now, but so I do have a lot of people that call me that need to talk, that are in having trouble. And I am only one person and I only have so much time, and this is what I do for a living. So I just want to be really clear about my goals and my ability to help. So if you are having a hard time, you have to book a session with someone. The people that are out there, and I'll probably do a separate video on this, because the people that are out there holding space for other people right now are really busy. It's a lot of energy to hold. There's a lot going on in the world. And, I don't have an open schedule just to get on calls for an hour, 2 hours to process everyone's stuff, or I would be homeless. And then who have I helped? So I have to, I have to protect my energy, number one. And number two, I have to service my paying clients, right? Because you wouldn't want to be someone who pays me, but then I'm going and spending all of my energy with other people just because they're in need. So just Also, like, know who you're asking, know what you're asking them, and show reciprocity. Okay. Don't ask to pick people's brains. It's very impolite. So everything is about the relationship with yourself. Okay. And I think of it in three ways when there's been a lot of trauma or change: release, increase, and create. So you need to know how to release. It's probably the number one thing that people do not do. Right? We just add on, we add on. Let's go take that vacation. Let's build on a unit in the house. Let's go try this new drug, or let's go, you add, right? So how can you release? You can release through movement. It is an amazing way to soothe the nervous system and heal the body. Talk therapy will help you release what is going on inside of you. Journaling, like we're talking about here, trauma work. I do somatic trauma work. If you have questions about that, let me know. I can do a 30-minute free call with you to explain to you what I do. It is not a session when we do that. Okay. So you can increase. What can you increase that's positive, right? So classes, books, positive media sources, increase the things that are good. Hang out with people who are lovely. Go for a walk in the park. Look up in the sky and build gratitude. Let your body relax. So release clears the system. Increase elevates your energy. And then create. So a lot of us are so busy working, being providers for children, helping build communities, working in the school system, whatever it is you do, building a company. We don't often, the people that I see that are deeply have an inner wealth are helping other people. And I think this is one of the fastest ways to accelerate your own healing is do something for others. So host an online event, donate, volunteer, see what other people in your community need. Like I said, there are a lot of people in need. You already know that. One of the fastest ways to get yourself out of an anxiety-ridden or depressive state is to actually show up and help someone else. So literally, like, just show up for someone else, and you shift your brain. You're no longer focused on self, you're focused outward. And you can do this consistently. Like you can, go to church every Sunday, or you can go volunteer every Saturday or something like this, or a little closer to you. You might just call people that are struggling right now. And you're going to feel fulfilled after being there for other people. It is the fastest way to feel good. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I was going to do a prompt. I did a prompt for someone last night on how to figure out how to become a coach and what are some of the criteria. So I can publish that for you all, as well as there's another one that I'm thinking for people that have shifted companies or are shifting companies and they don't feel happy at work any longer. So what can you do if you moved into a new company and you're like, I still have the same dreadful feeling? Okay, so we need to work. It's something within. It's always something within, right? So I help people, as you know, with anxiety, depression, anger issues. And I work with high performers that are typically very successful, well achieved in life. And there's something happening within that they haven't been able to move the needle on. So I do rapid lasting transformation for people. And if you're interested in talking, you can set up a time on my calendar and I can share more with you. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful, and let me know in the comments.